Happy Halloween, everybody! I'm dressed up in my Halloween costume. I'm a little demon moth, perfect. And we are ready to do what we're gonna do today in The Sims 4. Something that I'm completely mediocre at, I think, and that's Sims 4 builds. Building lots. Not good. Me. So my goal today is I want to make a spooky type building. Not exactly completely Halloween based, but a theme going on. A scary, spooky theme. I'll get into the specifics in the video, but I think I'm pretty mediocre level at building buildings. So I really wanted to test myself with this and see what I can actually do with a build if I actually try, you know? So that's the goal today. So let's hope and pray I can make a proper build. I have a perfect idea in my head and I want to see if I could get that done. So let's just get into it. Let's just get spooky, get some Halloween going on and get this ball rolling. All right, let's go. So I'm honestly a complete noob in build mode despite the fact that I've been playing this game for like centuries at this point. Like, in The Sims 4, and for Creative Sim, I own it like it's nobody's business. I think I make a really beautiful Sims, and that's my magnum opus in The Sims 4. Sims is all I could do. Buildings, nothing. I was never really good at it. Not even in the previous Sims, to be completely honest with you. I am getting a little bit better, but I still feel I'm lacking in a lot of places. So I'm hoping that this build really tests my, strengths, and I could see my weaknesses, and I'd have the world judge how I can build a building. I didn't really have a plan going into this other than how I wanted the exterior layout to look like, and I wanted to have some sort of Halloween theme going on that we'll see later in the build. But other than that, a lot of this is just me winging it, and I think by watching me try to make a layout, it's really obvious that I'm just winging it. I don't understand how floor plans work, and I never will. I think as long as I'm having a good time, that's all that matters. As long as it looks nice, that matters. But my main problem is I'm not sure how to make these things look nice. I make a floor plan and it looks like a mess. But with this one, I'm actually like pretty moderately happy with the way it came out, like for my own standards of building, comparing to like my other lots that I've built in the past. I think I did a fairly good job on this. And as we continue on, I'll just share my strange thought process. Honestly, if I had to name one thing that stressed me out the most in Sims builds that has happened to me ever since The Sims 2 is windows. I don't know why, but every time I try to place a window, it always looks so goofy. I always have a hard time making windows look nice on a building. From the inside, it's fine, but when you're looking at it from the outside, I'm like, this doesn't look right. And it never does. And I don't know why. I don't know how to place a damn window for the life of me. So I do want to give a little backstory for my idea behind this lot. So the basis behind this is that the family that lives here has a curse put on them that they can't move out of the home as long as their bloodline continues. So they're trapped in this sad, rundown, suspicious house, and no matter what they do to fix things will break down again. If they try to move out, something terrible will happen to them, to the ones who move out, basically just being trapped here forever. And the curse originally started 3 generations before the current household that's living in this building. And then it would be generation 2, that was the one that started the restaurant at the bottom. They were like, well, if we're gonna be trapped here forever, might as well make a business out of it. It's smart thinking, really, and got the rest of their bloodlines a job secured for all eternity, so amen to that. And the whole family does really love running the business together, and they do have a good time with it, and they take a lot of pride in it. It's, you know, the whole family thing. But you know, there's always still that little ting inside their heart telling them that there is probably so much more to the world than just what's inside this small little sad house of theirs. And it's not to say that they can't completely leave the house. They can, like they could go to the store, go to school, stuff like that. But they just can't move out for like a long extended period of time. But there was one sim in this family that did test out how long you could stay outside the house for. Now what happened to them? We shall find out later. But yeah, that's just a quick synopsis of the story behind the building. We'll get more into it when I start the play of the series. We'll get to know more about the family and the Sims and the generations before them. I have a big story planned, so I'm very excited to get this going. The interior is kind of inspired by this random hole-in-the-wall seafood restaurant I went to once that had some severe, I think this building transported me into a different dimension type vibes. Which I absolutely loved. I loved when you walk into a building and just something is just completely off about it and you don't feel like you're in your same world anymore. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand that feel? You'll have the memory of that building completely vivid in your mind, and yet you're still not convinced that that was a real moment in time and that was a real building. Like, it just feels so fake. But despite how questionable the building looked or how questionable it felt, it still probably had some of the best food you've ever had in your life, and you would go again. What I love about this kitchen is that it's very homey. It's just like your average kitchen and much less like a business kitchen. It gives the feel like they'd have food that feels like it's home cooked and comfortable and not anything too fancy, but it's still, you know, super delicious. I mean, technically it is home cooked because they are in their home, but you know what I mean. I guess it's just the charm of this place and why people keep coming back here for decades at this point. I got distracted here because I just got mind blown by random never before seen leaf lore from this game, at least to me. I mean, I know other people have probably seen it, but this was never said in the original games and I laughed like, hello? What do you mean to tell me that The Sims 4 has secret knowledge and lore about the My Sims characters? I just never read the My Sims captions before in this game. I knew they were there and I've always loved the fact that they're there because My Sims need more recognition. We need a new My Sims game even after all these years. I don't care how long it's been. And if there's like just one My Sims fan left in this world, it's gonna be me. But yeah, I don't know, I just really appreciated that and maybe I should like actually read them all because good to know he carries a little blankie with him. How adorable of our little rock star. I'm just remembering now that I wanted to put pumpkins on those little cornerstones, but I completely forgot to do that. So I'm writing a note to myself right now. Later, when I go back in, put pumpkins on those cornerstones. This is supposed to be Halloween. What am I doing? But what if we held hands in the cryptic seafood restaurant's bathroom? I was trying so hard to figure out a way to make it like stalls, but it was quite impossible given how small it was, so I just made it a single toilet bathroom. And I always love how like in restaurants like these always have these pretty decent sized bathrooms with just a toilet in the corner. It's like this huge area of space. Do you know what I'm talking about, right? You walk into the room and it's just sort of jarring just to see a small little toilet in the corner, but there's just so much open space. It just adds to like eerie vibes that I was trying to replicate that in this. I really do admire you guys who can build such beautiful, complex builds, and I'm literally right here struggling trying to place down some hand soap. And always, in those giant bathrooms, there's just a giant hanging picture behind the wall of something completely random, not even to the theming of the restaurant, if the restaurant even has a theme, just a picture on the wall just to fill up the blank space. I placed down the metal folding chairs as a joke at first, but then I kept them in because I thought it'd be really funny if this restaurant really had you sitting down in these classic trademark metal folding chairs to eat. I don't really know if some of them are going to be functional, but I don't really care. That's not really the point. My main goal with the home part of the build was I wanted to make it look lived in, but also very run down. A makes do with what you got type situation. I really love these lights. They're really perfect for that dim, yellow, older house lighting feel. Even that shape of them, that shell shape, just reminds me of like some 90s type light structure. I know I kind of went overboard with the vines, but every time they try to cut it, 10 more vines just grew in its place, so they just eventually gave up, alright? To add on to the sad state of the home part, which again is not their fault, I decided to add some beat upness to the wall, like holes, ripped wallpaper, scratches, cracks, just the whole shebang. It's just sad and terrible in here. My heart was utterly broken when I realized that the wall divider went through the floor. I wanted to make it work, but I couldn't figure out how, so naturally I just gave up and just put the one you could just put on the half wall. Putting a stack of books next to some candles is a really good idea. It's visually appealing and pretty, and the candles should light up your books really nicely. It's a good idea. This little small blue space in the corner is going to be the sun's room. Yeah, the sun's room is kind of sad, but this whole top floor is kind of sad, you know? This room was originally meant to be a storage closet, but they converted it into a tiny bedroom just for him, so yay for that. Congratulations. Now this purple room will be the daughter's room. She's a teenager and she's gonna have a bit more stuff in her room, a bit more involvement. My idea behind that is that in my mind she has her own part-time job aside from helping out with the family business. So she saves up all her own money to get her things, her interests herself. Because compared to her parents, they don't really believe in spending money on non-essential things, like just for hobbies or stuff like that. Because of this poster, I just decided completely on a whim that she's a big fan of mech anime, so there's that. This is when I realized that putting that heart moon in between them made it look like she ships Gothboy and Leaf. So, oops, but I'm not changing it because that's kind of funny. So this next room is the parents' room. And I only had one goal for it. Just make it depressing. No decor, no nothing. They're here to sleep off the day and nothing more. Minimal decor, minimal effort, just straight snoozing. But they do need a way to cover up all those cracks in the wall, so they just decided, let's just get a bunch of random photography and paintings and just cover it up that way. That'll do the trick. That's all you need. I don't know how to explain the pure excitement I got when I saw that giant shrimp ad poster. I knew it needed to put it on my building. I can't tell you why I got so happy, but it was like, I need that on my building immediately. It's just too perfect. I mean, it's a seafood restaurant. Bam! Giant shrimp poster. What more could you need? The last room I did was the bathroom, and it's just a bathroom, but it's one of those cryptic ones that you get an eerie feeling when you walk into it. Like the bathroom light is a bit too dim and you're kind of afraid to look in the mirror lest you'll see a different person staring right back at you type of thing. Because it's so small, it makes it really hard to even see what I'm doing. I mean, I could have barely see what I'm doing, but like a lot of times when I try to do the half wall thing, it doesn't work the way I want it to, so I have to have all the walls up. And then I'm blind when I'm trying to do things. And the front yard, I had a really fun time with this. It's just decorating for Halloween, like it's just, you know, your average front yard decorations. I really just put as many pumpkins as possible and other spooky things just to keep up with the Halloween stuff, but I wish I maybe did a little bit more. I feel like, looking back, I could have definitely been more creative in certain ways, if you know what I mean. I feel like I just slapped down some pumpkins and ghosts and called it a day, but I have more ideas, so maybe when I go back to it, I'll add more. I'm gonna say that the puking pumpkin was definitely the son's idea, and I think it's very fitting to have in front of your restaurant. Just a very telling thing to put some images inside of people's heads when talking about your restaurant, right? Yes, more vines. You could never have enough vines. I have this idea that the back of the house is where the mysterious evils are coming from, and the source of the vines, and that's why there's a lot of unkempt plants going on here, because they literally just can't control it. They just won't stop growing, and no matter what they do, they can't get rid of it. And mayhaps that empty room that I never bothered to mention until right now, maybe that's the source of it all. Maybe we have to find out later. Even in the front yard, there's going to be a lot of flowers and overgrown grass. Kind of looks a bit messy. Like I said, they can't control it, so they just embraced it. They kind of made it their brand. In a real feeble attempt, they did try to maintain the shrubbery by just fencing it off. It has worked to an extent, but they're very afraid to see what happens in the future because it's probably gonna overgrow over that one day too. And as for this gated area, this will be a secret for now, but it will be something in the future. Trust. Alright, cool. So we're done with the build and I'm gonna do a little tour of it now. Yay! I really do like how the front yard came out. It's kind of cute. It's really cute. Now in the dining area, I added some things to the wall because I realized it was very blank. I could just like smell the air in here. It's not a bad smell, but it's that smell that this building has been through a few decades. And I understand that. I really just love so dearly. The open space bathroom, toilet and corner. That feels like home to me. Let's check out the kitchen. Hold on, let me use the phone real quick. Hello? And I just noticed a little bear right here. It's very cute. And then we're gonna head upstairs, and I forgot to put the second story on, so we get the really nice beautiful view of the sky as we go up the stairs. How wonderful is that? Let's count all the stars together. The way I filmed this makes it look like I'm crawling up the stairs and I'm having a really hard time doing it. But that's good, it just fits the vibe. It fits the vibe of this video. The real haunting matter is, how did a toaster and a spice rack and spoons just suddenly magically appear on the counter before our eyes? Could this be a work of the mysterious forces that are hiding underneath this house? Or did I add them there later? The answers to those questions just may remain unsolved. All in all, I'm pretty proud of myself for this build. I think it came out pretty neat and pretty much exactly what I wanted it to come out with a little few differences here and there that I could have probably done better and all that, but knowing my own track history with how my builds go, I think I did a pretty okay job. There's no typical too much open space that I normally put. I feel like every room has enough in it. Even the parents' room that's supposed to be like very barren, it still feels real and lived into me in a way, as much as it can be. I kept coming back to the kitchen slash living room slash dining room because to me this is the most visually appealing part of my build. It just felt very real and it felt like I was in there. I think that part is probably my favorite part of the build, just that dining living room slash kitchen. I don't know, it's just cool to me. I feel like looking at the son's room in first person makes it even more sad, especially looking at the one colorful thing in the room, the tiny little bubble container. Oh, and his little ladybug picture that he looks at every night before he goes to sleep. A little treat before bed to make him feel happy. And I also love how the daughter's room came out too. The CRT TV with the little GameCube and this whole room. It feels very early 2000s to me, and I feel like I may have pinned that pretty good, I think, with the computer too. Like, not just that, but the feel of the room feels like it's from that time. I think I nailed that. I think I did. Maybe. Let me know in the comments. Did I nail that? So thank you for watching to the end of this video on my first official proper build. I hope you enjoyed it on my journey of discovering if I could actually do a build or not, and apparently I think I can. I think I really can if I actually tried. But yeah, other than that, thank you. I hope you had a good Halloween, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!